Welcome to DotGeek. I am Danny Danger, and this is Mark Gardner.
Hi, what's going on? Hi, everybody.
We're here with your weekly geek news, brought to you by the Daily Dot. And this has been actually a pretty good week for stuff.
I think it's been a fun week. We've talked the other day, like the past few times we've done this, we've had so many movie trailers, and it's because there's so much stuff coming out. I can't even help it. And there's more trailers, although these aren't technically movie trailers.
Yeah, we've got some TV trailers. First of all, Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh my God, Legends of Tomorrow is blowing my mind. First of all, the team lineup on this. The team lineup on this is really impressive, and we're gonna throw the trailer up. Let's see.
Keep talking.
Keep talking. So the team on this
There we go.
is really great. You've got Arrow or Ollie. You've got the Flash. You've got White Canary.
Let's talk about White Canary for a minute.
Let's talk about White Canary.
And I've said this before. I am not a big DC guy. So I don't know all the DC things in the world. Is there a White Canary in the DC universe?
To the best of my knowledge, now I am not the all-seeing, all-knowing comic book authority, but
living a lie.
Pretty close. I'm pretty close.
Pretty close.
Not perfect. I'm pretty close. No, but I am not. I can't think of any storylines where White Canary is a thing, and I actually think it's really great that they are taking the Black Canary character, because we always knew they were going to do that with everything that's been going on in Arrow. They were going to take the Black Canary character and change it and morph it and make it different and their own and unique to this universe. And White Canary, I think, is a really great way to do that. And she looks so fierce.
She looks amazing. I will watch, and I said this as soon as I heard this was happening, I will watch Katie Lots fight all day long. She is just amazing in the role of Black Canary. I'm really curious what happens with White Canary. See, there she is, White Canary right there. Lazarus Pit, of course, how else is she going to get there? But it really is interesting what they've done. There is a Black Canary on Arrow. It's her sister, Laurel, but now Sarah is White Canary. And then they're bringing in so many people from the Flash and Arrow universes with the Atom, Captain Cold, Heatwave. I mean, it's nonstop.
We've got like one half of Firestorm.
I think it's all a Firestorm. They just showed the one guy. It's all a Firestorm.
But they only show the one guy.
They only show him, but it's all a Firestorm.
But yeah, so it's all a Firestorm. So that's really exciting. Hawkgirl, I'm super excited about. I would have liked to have seen more of her in the trailer, but I would like to see more of her just period at all. So maybe I don't necessarily think that's a legitimate criticism. I think that's just me being like, Hawkgirl.
Hawkgirl, all the Hawkgirl. I'm nervous about Hawkgirl. Just because of the wings. And the Arrow and Flash have done a really good job. I think that they are really kind of knocking the superhero genre as far as TV goes out of the park. So I think they're going to do okay. I am nervous about Hawkgirl. That feels like it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I'm curious, and the fact that they didn't give her a lot of time in the trailer concerns me. It makes me nervous, but I can't really criticize how they develop the character until we find out more about the character. Now, that I do have to say, so we've also got Rip Hunter, a time traveler,
Rory.
master of time, challengers of the unknown. So yeah, this is going to be a time traveling adventure here. So which is really exciting to me, because this is going to blow my mind, because you've already got so many things happening in the Arrow and Flash, basically the DC TV universe that are unique and different, especially, that venture away from the comics and the movies, or whatever movies there have been or whatever. So for this to now also be its own imagining, its own alternate universe, and time travel is like a super big deal to me. And I'm really excited because maybe, the possibility of time travel sometimes open doors for travels between the multiverse, which is always really exciting.
For those of you who are up on Flash on the CW, they have totally made the multiverse a thing. The finale of Flash was last night. So spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. There are tons of flashes. You see what I did there? Flashes.
Flashlight.
Tons of flashes about the multiverse going on there. And they even reference the 1940s Flash at some point in this thing. So there's definitely room for the multiverse to happen. And I think it probably will.
So there's one thing that I think this team is missing. And it's what a lot of rudimentary Justice League teams are always missing, which drives me bonkers. And that is a magician. That is, no, I'm serious. Like someone who actually wields magic. You've got Zatanna, Shazam. I mean, you have options.
But they have completely ignored the magic aspect of the universe. They're doing the same thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay,
I mean, the fact that Scarlet Witch.
Stop ignoring magic. Stop it. Stop ignoring magic. Oh my God, Zatanna. I need Zatanna in this show.
You just need
in
Zatanna.
My life.
I don't know.
Zatanna.
I'm okay without Zatanna. I understand Zatanna's cool. I get it.
Then seriously, and it doesn't have to be Zatanna. Dr. Fate on this team, like some young kid who puts on the helmet of Dr. Fate and then like becomes, you know, this all-seeing, all-knowing, crazy Dr. Fate being. I'm sorry, it would be amazing. It would be so good.
But does
we
that
just
fit
need
in the
a magic
universe?
user.
But we don't
yes.
have any magic in this universe. Between Arrow, well, okay. Arrow, maybe I could argue just because they do at least talk about the Lazarus Pit a little bit. So maybe there is something there. I don't know. But this is very, and especially Flash.
Well, and you can tie in so much. You can tie in so much magic into just Ra's al Ghul. It's Ra's, not Roz. It's Ra's. Ah! Okay, I'm sorry. That is a huge pet
TV
peeve of mine.
universe.
TV is saying it
Multiverses.
wrong.
They pronounce it different in different universes.
No, they don't. They pronounce it the same way in the language that it's
in
written
another universe, your
It's
name is
Ra's
Donnie. I'm going
al
to start
Ghul.
calling you Donnie.
It's Ra's al Ghul.
Donnie Danger. Donnie Danger.
It's just
Race,
a really
Rosh,
bad knockoff
Race,
French
whatever.
accent. It's Ra's al Ghul.
Anyway, magic.
Anyway,
We're
there's
talking
a
over each
lot
other.
of
We talking
potential
over each other?
for. There's a lot of potential for magic users in, but we'll see. You know,
But
it could
again,
be season 2. We could be holding off.
All the stuff that they've done has been so based in fact, science. I mean, I'm not going to call it
Not
fact,
Constantine.
Constantine, I don't think Constantine is a part of this same universe that we're dealing with. When we're talking about the DC universe, I'm really looking at the producers of Flash, Arrow, and now Supergirl.
I thought they said something about there being a Constantine, like.
I haven't heard anything about Constantine crossing over into this universe. I think that might be wishful thinking on some people's parts. I haven't heard anything about that.
But the thing is that like if you as a comic book company and as a franchise are going to produce TV shows, they all need to exist in the same universe. I'm sorry, it makes sense.
I agree with you, but it's very clear that DC has been way behind on that concept. Way behind on that concept. Now with Supergirl and everything, they are talking about having some crossover. They even did a photo shoot. I think it was on Entertainment Weekly. They had a photo shoot with Grant Gustin and Melissa Benoist from Supergirl. So maybe they'll have some kind of crossover with that. I don't think I've ever seen anything about it with Constantine. I don't think that Constantine was considered part of this universe. I could be wrong. If you're out there and you know that I'm wrong, shoot me a tweet. The Twitter's down there.
Tweet at
Mark Gardner
us.
ATX. Let me know if I'm wrong in this. But I don't think that Constantine was considered part of the same universe with Flash and Arrow.
See, and that's a bummer for me because there are so many. One of the big things about having a magic user on your team is there are problems that Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. I mean, there are problems that no amount of punching or strategic work, no amount of martial arts or this, that, or training or any of the other skills or science can combat magic. And Superman talks about it all the time. Like when you have like the Justice League cartoons, it's like Superman's biggest weakness is magic, besides kryptonite.
Right.
It's magic because he can't do anything about magic. It's why Captain Marvel can like pummel him in the face, and they can actually fight each other. And Superman will take a knocking around. So maybe that's something for Supergirl. But before we move into Supergirl, I do want to talk about one other thing.
Okay.
For Legends of Tomorrow,
it.
and that is Vandal Savage.
Yeah.
So we talked about this a little bit earlier. You don't know a lot about Vandal
I don't.
Savage.
And again, this goes back to my weakness with DC. I don't know a ton about I'm learning. Now, if you talk about the DC television universe, I've got that because I am addicted to Arrow and Flash. Well, I know a little bit about the cartoons because I did see the Justice League thing you were talking about earlier.
Okay, so if you don't know about Vandal Savage, and if we could throw up that graphic, that would be awesome. So Vandal Savage was a caveman who was exposed to a meteorite, which gave him highly advanced intellectual capabilities, and also has basically made him immortal. And throughout history, basically his role is to just be a fascist asshole. I mean, he's supposedly Genghis Khan. He was a high-ranking official in the Nazi army. Every world dominating regime in Earth's history, Vandal Savage has been a part of.
He's a part of it.
And he is an incredible villain for this group of superheroes because you've already got Arrow is founded on a basis of fighting corruption in your city and in your backyard. And Vandal Savage is sort of the ultimate villain if that's what you're fighting. And I mean, he really is. He's been doing this historically through all of time since humans existed. Yeah. So if you don't know about Vandal Savage, there are some really great Justice League Unlimited and Justice League cartoons that feature him as the bad guy. Justice League Doom is an animated movie where Vandal Savage puts together a team of supervillains to basically find Batman's contingency plan for if the Justice League go evil.
It's really
and then he
good.
uses it against the Justice League.
Yeah.
So it's a really good introduction into Vandal Savage, how he thinks, who he is as a character. But he is incredibly rife with good content. I think he's a perfect villain for this story. I think he's a really overlooked villain in terms of DC history. So I'm really glad to see that he is, you know, that he is this villain for this show. But he also has a knack for putting together teams of supervillains. It's something he commonly does in the comics and cartoons. So, you know, in Flash and Arrow, we get a lot of peeks at superheroes, and we get a lot of little cameos from, you know, other superheroes.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get that for villains, and I feel like that's because of Vandal Savage, and I'm so excited about it.
Potentially so, yes. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of time travel, which I'm a little concerned about, although Flash has handled the time travel stuff very well. The finale for Flash last night, guys. Wow.
Wow.
Great stuff. You guys seriously need it. But let's move on. Let's move on, because we got a lot to talk about.
Move on.
Because this leads in straight to the other big trailer that came out, and that was Supergirl. And it's been a little controversial. The Supergirl trailer has been controversial.
So I personally loved the Supergirl trailer. I love it. I think it's approachable. I think that you know, people. It's accessible to people of all ages. It's accessible to all kinds of different people. But really importantly to me, it is accessible to girls of all ages, and that's really important to me.
Well, I think you and I talked about this a lot when this came out, because I really enjoyed it too. I mean, there was a part of me that I fell into, and I'm going to call it a trap, because I feel that it was a little bit of a trap for me. But there was a part of me that fell in this thing. Someone made the comment that this part looked like Devil Wears Under Armour, because basically it's a superhero in a fashion industry. And we had a big, long conversation. We both agree that most of the criticism has been that this is too girly to be a superhero. And that doesn't make sense to me, because we're automatically saying if it's girly, it can't be strong, it can't be powerful. And I think that kind of is what this entire show is about. They have the little thing where Calista Flockhart has the talk about why not call her Supergirl.
I almost cried.
I mean, it was great. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a totally different take for
I'm a girl and I'm your boss. And just everything about that sentence wins for me. I'm a girl and I'm your boss. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you're right.
There's a sense that a superhero can't be human. And the one thing that really came across with this video for me is that she comes across as human, even though she's technically not. She's Kryptonian.
Okay, so here's my thing about the Supergirl trailer, and I'm going to look right at you, audience, when I say this. Attacking femininity in the name of feminism is stupid.
That's true.
It's just stupid.
Yeah. Totally
to say
true.
that something is not feminist forward because it is girly is, I mean, I don't want to gatekeep feminism, but I think you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. I'm sorry. Like, how can you justify that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, and I love that so much about this trailer actually embraces the fact that she is a girl who likes things that are girly, even though fashion isn't only for girls, by the way.
It's got that
whatever
notion for it.
Yeah,
sure.
but this, and so it was actually funny because I was looking at this and
real quick, can we talk about this
Yes.
first? I'm actually going to rewind this thing a little bit, because I really want to say one of the things that I loved about this show, or this trailer at least, was how they really kind of showed her becoming a hero. It's not just, you're not born into heroism. It's something that you find. And this one scene in particular where she finds out that her sister's on a plane that's going down, she's never flown before. They even talked about it earlier. It's like, maybe I can fly. I don't know. And just seeing her try to fly to save her sister, I think is a beautiful character moment. And I really love the fact that they took the time to do that. Having said that, I think that this brings us to one of the things that we both kind of agree is a problem with this trailer. I feel like they pretty much gave us the entire first season in this 6-minute trailer.
I feel like I've at least seen the entire pilot episode. I mean, I'm going to watch it anyway.
Oh, yeah, I'll
but
totally
I
watch
have
it.
definitely seen the entire pilot episode, basically.
Yeah, I agree with that. I will definitely watch this. I'm jazzed about it. I'm looking forward to it. I also love Melissa Benoist. I think she's great. She got shafted on Glee. You heard it here first. Maybe not first, but you heard it here. She got shafted on Glee.
This moment was super cute for me.
Oh, yeah, that was great. I mean, the whole time she's talking about, I could be a hero. I could be more than just some person at a fashion company. And then when they talk about her and she gets all like, oh, it was great. It was great. I loved it. I loved all the things about this thing.
Yeah, I really do too. And for people to criticize it and say, oh, well, it's like the Devil Wears Prada, but for superheroes. So one of the really funny things about criticizing Supergirl for working in the fashion industry that also gets me is there's an amazing little graphic, little comic that I found that actually, I mean, she has changed her outfit like a million times, first and foremost. She's all about fashion. And in the actual DC Comics universe, she doesn't work in the fashion industry, but Donna Troy does. So basically Wonder Woman's sidekick is a fashion designer. So, I mean, why are we hating on fashion designers? I have friends who are fashion designers who will fight you. They'll
totally fight you.
They'll fight you all, and they'll look great doing it. But seriously, like, it actually makes sense for her to work in the fashion industry. She changes that outfit so many times. I mean, girl loves clothes.
There's nothing wrong with that. And this basically is an entire scene from that trailer where she's trying on the different clothes. It's just like, oh, I'm not going to wear this. I'm going to wear this. This is great. Yeah. Which, by the way, if you guys have not read this webcomic, the Batgirl, Supergirl comic is great.
It's so
hysterical.
good.
I love it. You guys totally need to check that out.
So there is one other thing that I want to talk about, and it's what they did with Jimmy Olsen.
Yes.
So in my experience, Jimmy Olsen is this very awkward, silly, this awkward, silly character who often, makes a gesture of himself to get the shot. And they made Jimmy Olsen smooth.
Jimmy's looking good.
And I'm totally okay with it. I feel like they've been trying to revamp the character of Jimmy Olsen since Zack Snyder's Superman, where there was like talks that maybe that the female character that was taking photographs might be Jimmy Olsen, but it wasn't really touched on. They were real vague about whether or not that was supposed to be a Jimmy Olsen. And I like that they created a new Jimmy. I'm totally okay with that. There are very few things that I'm one of those like, oh, I want it to be like it was in the comic. I'm very much about nostalgia, but I do like that Jimmy Olsen is just different.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great, and I loved her reaction to. I mean, seeing Supergirl fangirl over Jimmy Olsen, I think was great.
Seriously,
I mean, just seeing that. I mean, they really did humanize this hero that we haven't seen. I mean, let's face it. As much as I love Arrow, Oliver Queen is a distant dude. Man, he shows zero emotion. I think they're doing a better job with Flash. Grant Gustin is really, really good.
He's
showing
so
the human side. He really is. And he was great. Oh man, seriously, guys, I watched
hold him right here.
The season finale last night of Flash. Grant Gustin, well done, sir. Well done. So yeah, I really like the fact that they're really taking the time to humanize these characters like this, and I think Jimmy Olsen's just part of that. I'm not sure he's going to be recurring. I think he's probably just there for the pilot.
I am a little curious who the entitled to date you because I think you're pretty guy is, who helps her build her costume.
Oh, I think that was just her friend.
Yeah, who is that guy? I was just curious.
I don't know.
I will admit that scene rubbed me the wrong way a little bit.
Really?
Like, not in a bad way. Like, it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's definitely going, with the attitude and the tone of the show, that's definitely going to be addressed later. But it's going to be one of those things where I'm like, oh, I want to like this character, but parts of him I don't like.
See, I didn't get the vibe that he felt entitled to date her because he was helping. I got the vibe that they were friends. She told him about this stuff and he was helping her. I didn't get any
No.
vibe.
It was oh, you're a lesbian and that's why you don't want to date me.
Oh, no, I don't know.
And it was the only thing in the trailer that I was like, well, that doesn't really match the tone of everything else happening here. That feels a little out of place or awkward. It didn't bother me. It was just kind of weird. It was just sort of like, oh, and off in this direction, we have this guy being awkward and uncomfortable. And it's like, okay, all right. Cool. Thanks for building my super suit, awkward guy.
I don't know. I think that was...
Maybe try Tinder.
Tinder. Supergirl, sponsored by Tinder. Swipe right. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. So.
All right. But anyway, Supergirl, I don't even remember when it's coming out. I'm not even sure. I need to figure out when it's coming out. Long story short, I enjoyed the trailer. There's been a lot of people out there. If you didn't enjoy the trailer, do a search on YouTube. There's actually a video. Somebody recut the trailer without the girly parts. And I have to admit, it's a good cut. It's a good cut. It looks, if you're into just straight up superhero-ness, watch that and you'll totally be into watching Supergirl. However, I wasn't bothered with the feminine stuff.
Feminine. I love the feminine stuff.
Donnie Danger.
Okay.
All right,
really want to talk about the potential of Asa Butterspider.
Asa Butterspider? So, okay, to clarify for people that are like, what? Butter spider? What are you talking about that?
We discovered a new species
Yes.
in Hollywood, California.
It's actually the Australian butter spider, the Australian Asa butter spider. It's 5 feet long. Anyway, the rumor mill is that Asa Butterfield is going to be cast as Spider-Man in the Civil War movie, the Marvel Civil War movie coming out. And that's kind of a rumor. It is a rumor. That's all it is. It's probably a pretty accurate rumor, but
It's a rumor that's giving me incredible feels.
So you're a fan.
Okay, so I'm absolutely a fan. I did not see, I watched Ender's Game once and I was kind of into it. I was kind of not into it. That's one of those books that is just so perfect that there was no way that the movie was going to live up to my expectations. But I thought everyone did great in the movie. I liked everything about the movie. It's just never going to be as good as the book because no movie is ever as good as the book. But anyway, that's not always true.
I was about to say, wait.
Anyway, I digress. So the first thing I ever saw him in was The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Which I've never heard of.
It is
heard of.
So it's this tale of a little German boy whose family moves in right next to their property, shares a fence with an Jewish internment camp.
Okay.
And he makes friends with one of the little boys.
Oh,
and they
that
have
movie.
this they talk through the fence. And
I have heard
it
of
is
that now.
so incredibly gut-wrenching and moving, and no one can look me in the face and tell me seriously that Asa Butterfield is not the greatest actor or an incredibly talented actor and watch that movie. Like, you can't watch that movie and say, oh, he's all right. He's incredible.
How was he in Ender's Game, though?
Huh?
How was he in Ender's Game?
I thought he was great in Ender's Game.
Okay, all right.
I thought he did a great job. I loved everything about the movie. It's just not the book. You
I've
know?
seen nothing of Asa Butterfield. I have no idea. I haven't seen Hugo. I haven't seen Striped Pajamas.
He's very gifted. He's very gifted.
All right, fair enough. And I didn't watch Ender's Game just because I heard that it was just a pale comparison to
Meh.
the book.
And it was just meh. There's just only so much you can do with such a big, but I mean.
That was going to be a tough book to turn.
Yeah, very tough. But it is definitely going to make some of the events of Civil War, if you've read Civil War.
Spoilers.
It's going to make some of the events of Civil War more gut-wrenching. I already kind of am fighting an inclination to punch Robert Downey Jr. in the face now that I know that it might be Asa Butterfield playing Spider-Man. And I'm very conflicted about that because I really like Robert Downey Jr., but I want to punch-size his face now.
I'm just going to punch-size your face.
Punch-size your face for free.
How do you feel? Because there was a lot of talk when Spider-Man first came out that he was going to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There were a lot of people saying, oh, please let it be Miles Morales.
I was totally one of those people. And so here's the thing. Casting a Peter Parker in the Spider-Man movie does not mean that there's not going to be a Miles Morales.
That's right. It's true.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe is completely different from the comic book universe, so there is absolutely no reason why an Ultimate character and a 616 character cannot coexist. I actually think there is a lot of potential exciting story stuff in the possibility of there being more than one Spider-Man, so there being a Miles, there being a Gwen. Like, just because there is a Peter Parker does not mean that there can't be a Miles or a Gwen Stacy.
It's true. Although I'll tell you right now, as far as Spider-Man goes, I'm tired of the Spider-Man reboots. I want to see Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, this needs to be different. And I actually feel like casting an actor who has the chops at such a young age as Asa Butterfield does gives me a lot of hope for a new, fresh tone for a Spider-Man reboot. Because like I said, I love Spider-Man, but if I'm telling you I'm sick of Peter Parker, you know you're overdoing it.
All I'm saying is I want Spider-Gwen.
I want Spider-Gwen too.
Emma Stone needs to come back. And she needs to be Spider-Gwen.
Seriously.
That needs to happen.
Spider-Gwen.
Because at this point, I don't think anybody could do better than, oh my God, Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen. That would be huge. You hear me, Marvel? You know this is not the first you've heard of this.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Something new and original needs to be done with the Spider-Man reboot. The fact that they're even doing one, it makes me roll my eyes, but I would be a lot less inclined to roll my eyes if there was some, just diversity in the story, in the telling of the story and the characters. I definitely think that I would really love to still see a Miles or a Spider-Gwen. But I do think that Asa Butterfield is a really good choice, and Butter Spider is my thing now.
He's got the look. I'll say that he's got the
Asa
look. I just am not familiar with him as an actor. So, we'll go with that. Why not? Sure. Okay, Asa Butterfield.
You know what you are incredibly familiar with?
What am I?
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
The world blew up because Bill Nye's on Netflix now.
And I love that they announced it. They weren't like, it's coming to Netflix. They were like, boom, turn on your Netflix right now. Go educate yourself. Bill Nye's on Netflix.
Get your education on.
So this is really, really interesting to me because you have my generation grew up on Bill Nye the Science Guy, and you know. So you've got people who are going to watch it for the nostalgic purposes, but are kids these days going to watch Bill Nye the Science Guy? And we had a really interesting conversation about this.
We talked a lot about this because I love Bill Nye as well. Bill Nye is great. There's a lot of nostalgia there, and I think that there are a lot of people that are our age that also love Bill Nye. But the reality is, in my opinion, if you're looking for something that's going to be educational for kids, kids are not going to watch Bill Nye. Kids don't watch TV. Kids don't have Netflix. It's not like I've got a 12-year-old that's got the disposable income to subscribe to Netflix and watch Bill Nye. Maybe their parents will put it on for their 5-year-old.
See, and that's what I think is that the kids, so my generation having grown up on Bill Nye, we're having kids now.
Yeah, that's right. So
but we are.
Spoiler!
We're having kids now. So it's not weird to think about, and a lot of us have kids that age where we are, as a family, watching television shows together and choosing the content that our children are watching. So there is a good chance that Bill Nye could stay culturally relevant just because of the timing of the release.
Possibly, but I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical.
Make your kids watch Bill Nye.
But here's the thing. If you're looking at what kids are watching, kids are not watching TV, they're not watching Netflix, they're watching YouTube. And there's a lot of great educational content on YouTube. YouTube still has this weird thing where people are like, oh, it's cat videos. Stop it already. It's not just cat videos. There are some really, really good shows.
There's some really great educational cat videos.
There's some great. There are, actually.
But yeah, for real.
Watch SciShow. Watch The Brain Scoop. The Brain Scoop is amazing. If you guys have never seen The Brain Scoop, it is really, really good. It's sponsored by the Field Museum up in Chicago. So good. PBS Digital Studios does an amazing job talking about all these things. There was recently a channel that just started that was, I think it's called Space Time. I need to look it up what it's called. But they were talking about what the space-time continuum actually is and what it means for people and how you're not... How you're not a life, you're actually the line that is your life, and that exists all simultaneously. It made my head hurt, but there's so much really, really good educational stuff on YouTube. That's where people are going. While Bill Nye, I think, is great, and I love his work. I think he does an amazing job teaching. I'm just not sure that it's really going to get to kids today. I think kids today need to be on YouTube. I would have been happier if Bill Nye had relaunched on YouTube with one of these other channels. Like the stuff that Hank and John Green are doing with all of their work, get Bill Nye involved and have him work with SciShow or something like that. Now that, to me, makes sense.
Well, now this is not to say that that can't happen. These are reruns. These are Bill Nye the Science Guy reruns.
Right.
So this isn't actually taking up any of Bill Nye's good sweet time. Sweet time.
That's sweet time.
Sweet, valuable time.
I feel like you should say like Barry. That's sweet
science time.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
We need to release an album.
Barry
at the end
White
of this.
singing
Barry
to Bill
White's
Nye.
Sweet science
Bill
time.
Nye don't want to waste any of your sweet time. I don't know how that works.
But I do. I think it's really interesting. I would like to see, this being on Netflix open up more doors. I think it's only going to serve the nostalgic.
Yeah, I think
crowd.
so. Yeah.
But that in and of itself, I'm totally okay with.
And
I love it for selfish purposes.
I do think that we're going to get to a point to where there are going to be some parents that are just going to throw it on. I would rather throw that on for my kids. I don't have kids, but in the point where I do have kids, I would rather throw on Bill Nye than 90% of the other stuff that people are throwing on for their kids. So maybe that's going to happen. I hope it does, because we definitely need more science and education in our society. Like so much more. So much more. Which is why you should all be watching SciSchool or SciShow, Brain Scoop, PBS Digital Studios. Look those up, because all of the work that they're doing is amazing. It's really thought-provoking stuff, and I have learned so much from watching these shows. It's amazing. Crash Course is great. If you're into history, Crash Course. So good. John Green, do it. Yeah, totally. So yeah, look on those things.
Into it.
Yeah,
into it.
into it.
You know what I'm not into?
Yeah, I do.
Leaked photos.
Let's talk about that for a little bit. Yeah, there's been a ton of leaked pictures coming out from the set of Civil War, from the set of the Suicide Squad. And this is not a new phenomenon. There have been leaked photos coming out from pretty much everything except Star Wars.
But it's so frustrating. Like, I don't want to see fuzzy, like super low resolution pictures of Jared Leto wearing a Joker outfit that I already have seen him in good resolution. Like,
That's true, yeah.
It's like, oh, Harley, ooh, it's a big spoiler alert. Harley Quinn is holding a gun to Joker's head, or Joker's holding a. That's not a spoiler. Anybody who reads the comics or who has any familiarity with the characters and their relationship at all, not a spoiler.
But
this
hold on.
isn't exciting. This isn't. It's just people taking grainy pictures and posting pictures. And
not a lot of people have experience with the comics, though. Let's face it. As far as comics are growing, as far as acceptance in pop culture, it's still a far minority of the population. So a lot of these people that are looking and are interested in the Suicide movie have no idea of the relation between Joker and Harley Quinn. They have no idea.
And for them, and when these articles pop up on Facebook, on Twitter, this is the picture that you see. So you don't get a choice in whether or not you get to see these pictures. If you like certain articles, other articles that are related are going to pop up, and you're going to see this picture, or you're going to see a fuzzy picture of a pink Lamborghini, which basically all that does is tell me that DC is throwing around way too much money unnecessarily. But whatever. I guess if I had DC money to throw around on a white Lamborghini or a pink Lamborghini, I probably would too.
They're sponsored by Lamborghini.
Now that I said that out loud, I
Suicide
probably
Squad,
would.
brought to you by Lamborghini.
Hey.
I keep saying that because I hope somebody will sponsor this show. DotGeek, brought to you by Lamborghini.
Oh my God, can you imagine how much the show would change?
Yes, us driving around town in a Lamborghini with a GoPro in front. How's it going, Dave?
GoPro,
What's up, man?
Let's talk about comics.
Boom. Now that would be a great show right there.
You want to pull over, or you want to try and outrun this cop?
Let's just go, man. I got to straight.
Let's just go. I got.
It's kind of like the Jerry Seinfeld talking comics and cars, except we're in a Lamborghini driving around Austin talking about comics. Jeez. That sounds like a better show to me. I don't know. Maybe.
So my issue here, and we have talked about this, is, you know, spoilers, or we're getting too much. We are getting inundated with too much from our favorite productions. So I'm concerned that by the time Suicide Squad comes out, or by the time Civil War comes out, I'm going to be so overwhelmed with just like shots of, pardon my French, but bullshit. Just absolute crap that isn't actually important to the relevancy of the story. But I've seen so many pictures and so many leaked photos and so many leaked little tidbits of the story that by the time I go see it, I'm going to be like, okay, I feel like I've already seen this. There were parts of Avengers: Age of Ultron that were not as enjoyable for me because I had already seen video footage of it, and I was like, well, I already know that Tony Stark makes a really offsides joke right now, so this whole scene is ruined for me.
We talked about it with Civil War because I was really getting burned out with the amount of coverage and the amount of, hey, special sneak preview of Avengers after today's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, we had like a month of nothing but that coverage. And I think for me, I was getting burned out. Like, it took me 2 weeks to see the movie. And it's not because I didn't want to see the movie. I just had other stuff going on and I wasn't as driven. If I hadn't seen that much, I probably would have wanted to see it more. Mm-hmm. You know, we talked about this. I hate spoilers. Let's just get this on the record right now. For the record, I hate spoilers. I think that they really,
Mark will punch all of your spoilers.
I will punch your spoiler in the neck. And it will hurt.
Neck.
I know. I'm going to knock them down. Anyway, when filmmakers create a film, they have a very specific goal. And whether you like the movie or the creator, you may hate Transformer, you may hate Michael Bay, but you cannot tell me that he does not care about the end product. He cares about it whether you agree with the final result of it or not. When they're building these things and we start giving away spoilers, we are robbing ourselves of what that creator is trying to get across. So I hate spoilers. If we look at Jurassic Park, when Jurassic Park came out, there was nothing like it ever. If we had, before Jurassic Park even hit the theaters, had all these little clips showing up on TV on our YouTube, hey, special sneak peek of Jurassic Park, showing these dinosaurs, there wouldn't have been that sense of awe. And I will admit it, here I'm going to show my age a little bit. I saw Jurassic Park in the theater, and when those dinosaurs first popped up on screen in that theater, there was an audible gasp because no one had ever seen anything like that. With all the spoilers we've got, leaking set photos, doing all these previews, we're robbing viewers of that sense of awe, and I think that hurts our industry as filmmakers, whether it's TV, movies, whatever. That hurts our industry. So just stop. Just stop. You can take a stand, people. I'm looking at you. Take a stand. Stop with the spoilers. Stop robbing yourself of the awe that you can get from a really well-crafted production. Boom.
Well, and it also, you know, there's also these
dropped the
moments where, and this is particularly with Captain America Civil War, there have been some photos that have been leaked that are story spoilers. And, you know, and then there's also this gap between like what we see in theaters and how we understand film production works and how film production actually works. And I think a really good example are these photos of Chris Evans getting in the Civil War costume.
There we go.
And everybody's freaking out because you could see his belly button. And first of all, you know, our producer made a really good point before this. If this was a female, nobody would even care.
Wouldn't even think about it. It's like,
blink.
oh, of course we're going to see a girl's ass.
Girls have belly buttons, boys don't. I don't know what boys have going on down there, but they only have belly buttons when they're shooting on the cover of like. You know,
and let's
magazine.
be realistic with this picture. This isn't his costume.
So here's the thing. Something about that outfit has a functional purpose in the movies. Everyone is looking at this photo and criticizing it as if that's what they're going to see in the movie because they have no understanding of production, period. And while I think that behind the scenes footage to give people a better idea of how production works is great, this is not that. This is a leaked photo or a photo put out that people are criticizing with no context just because it's on the internet and they want to have an opinion on it. And it's very frustrating because it's like, man, it's very frustrating because it's like we're not even talking about the movie anymore. We're not talking about the plot. We're not talking about anything valuable about the movie. We're just talking about belly buttons, which I love belly buttons, and I will have a long conversation about belly buttons, but
I agree. I'm sorry about doing that, but it's like every time you do that, I can just hear our mics go.
Just gonna karate chop the table for emphasis.
Realistically, what we're looking at here is we're looking at in-between takes where they've given him the opportunity to breathe, and they take off part of his costume without completely getting him out of it. That's all we're looking at here. This is not what's going to be on camera, guys.
No superhero movie features breathable fabric. No. If you want to fight crime, you are going to sweat a lot.
There's a web series that is, I shouldn't even call it, I'm going to call it a digital series, a digital original series out of Canada called Heroes of the North. And they are sponsored by a latex company. And every superhero in that wears latex. That has got to be miserable shooting that. That's got to be
friends
horrible.
Who wear latex for totally different reasons. It's difficult. It's not comfortable and it's not meant to be.
I can't even imagine. I am really glad that they're not wearing latex in Civil War, though.
I'm telling you.
That would be wrong. I don't know.
So my suggestion now is that we take all of these bad feelings about spoilers and we take all of these just negative emotions that are building up in this and we find some catharsis in our video of the week.
Yes, it's our video of the week. We don't have a splash for it yet, but at some point we're going to have something like, video of the week. Bam!
So now we're going to do it.
Bam.
Are you ready? All right.
Ready?
Video of the week.
Bam.
That was good.
Really good. No.
Okay, you want to do one more time?
No, it's all good. That's all good. Here, let me pull this up. What's our video of the week, Danny?
Our video of the week is Bad Blood by none other than Taylor Swift.
Yes. Look, and before anybody says anything, I saw this on Tumblr, and I want to make sure you all get it. Life is too short to pretend you don't like Taylor Swift. Just quit pretending. Everybody likes Taylor Swift. If you're not singing along with Taylor Swift, there's something wrong with you. I'm just going to say that right now. But yeah, this video, is it? Oh, we've got an ad. So we'll wait for the ad to roll through because that's a thing. You know, we'll let them get paid. Vivo, you'll get your $1. Why not? This video, Bad Blood, is pretty much a love letter to every sci-fi genre film in the past 20 years. And I'm impressed because I honestly didn't think that Taylor Swift would pull something off like this. I mean, this straight out of Kill Bill. And the game is, what different movies can I find reference in this video? And I'm still finding new ones every time I turn around.
I am just mesmerized by the edge and the fashion in this video. This video has been so inspiring for me. I have drawn more this week since seeing this video than I have in a while.
Sin City, by the way. Yes. Sin City, boom. This is my game. I'm going to call it everything I see once I see it. No,
all
that's
right.
not what I'm going to do. But anyways.
So, this one.
Yes. Fifth Element?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, totally Fifth Element.
And I always really liked the Fifth Element.
Fifth Element's a great movie. What are you talking about? That's
a
spectacular
movie. I love it.
I mean, that's nothing to be ashamed of right there.
No, not at all.
I mean, there has been so much talk about this, and she spent weeks, Taylor Swift spent weeks promoting this video, Tron. If you looked at her Instagram, her Twitter, she was posting pictures of all the people, and she got any and everybody that was anybody to be in this movie. Whether it's
You got a lot of Victoria. You got a couple Victoria's Secret models. You've got some musicians. You've got actresses. Producers.
Cindy Crawford's in this video. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. When's the last time Cindy Crawford's been in a music video?
Ellie Goulding.
Yay, gotta love her.
She's like a real life Dazzler. That
She
song,
is kind of like a
Lights.
real. Oh my
Lights?
God, she is.
She's a real life Dazzler.
Ellie Goulding. You need
For
to be
real.
Dazzler.
For real though.
Just make that happen.
Yeah. I actually Google searched to see if she had ever performed a concert dressed as Dazzler. I was like, she's got to have sung Lights with that blue makeup on once. I mean, come on.
Probably not.
Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't think so. That
Have your
doesn't
people
really-
call my people. Okay. Zendaya.
Yes. Yeah.
Nails
you
it.
love her. Yeah.
Nails it. Also did not realize this is the lead
Haley
singer
Williams.
from Paramore.
Haley Williams pulling straight up Fifth Element with that character
Yes.
stuff. Just nailed that. More Kill Bill stuff. There are so many things. I mean, it's a game. There are huge comment threads. If you go, I think, to IO9, they were talking about this video. Last I checked, there were well over 500 comments talking about the different references, debating, like, is this Fight Club or is this Divergent? Which one is it? You could argue multiple ways. And
Tron.
If you
Again.
guys don't see Tron in this, and there's something wrong, because they even have the red and the blue lights trailing behind it. I mean, this is beautiful. So as a geek, I'm watching this, and I am loving every minute of it, just because there's so much. You're like, oh, I know that reference.
And it's so because as a geek, okay, here we go, right here. Mariska Hargitay. I'm so excited. And
Yes.
Ellen Pompeo. Like I was really stoked about that one. And Cindy effing Crawford.
I mean,
Like,
come on.
But so there's this thing. I have such a huge passion for the crossover of fashion
Sucker Punch.
and geekdom. Here we go. Let's see if I can spot it. There's a Dark Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
Dark Phoenix. She looks
Right
just
there.
like Dark Phoenix.
I gotta
right
tell
there.
you, you are so
Bam.
right, because you and I have had a lot of discussions. You have this dream project of doing the pop singer
yeah, it's
superheroes.
Pop Music Mutants. It's
Pop
a
Music Mutants, there
crossover
you go.
between X-Men and pop stars. And so far, I have some actual great Kevin Wada commissioned art that was Lady Gaga as Emma Frost,
which is perfect.
and I mean, it just nailed it.
Yeah.
David Bowie as Mystique.
But one of them was Beyonce as Dark Phoenix. I don't know. After seeing this, after seeing Taylor Swift with the fire and the hair, I'm having trouble not seeing Taylor Swift as Dark Phoenix.
I think she's just really versatile. I think that she could be a lot of things, and that's part of what I love about Taylor Swift, actually, and that's part of what I love about these videos. That's part of what I love about Shake It Off and Blank Space. Like,
song
she's
is now stuck in
so
my head.
versatile. She can accomplish so many looks, so many tones, so many things, and it's so important to me that women in the public eye be portrayed this way.
That's fair. Yeah.
They're as of right now, the way that we portray famous women is very limited. We have a scope of, oh, well, she's the funny one, or she is the edgy one, or she is the foul-mouthed pop star one, or she is this. She can't be multiple things. She can't be a nice, sweet home country girl and this edgy fashionista. Well, guess what? She can. She's Taylor Swift. She can do whatever she wants.
You know, you're kind of touching on something that we talked about before, because there's been a lot of discussion about this song in the video, about who's it about, who's she singing about. And the general consensus is that she is singing about Katy Perry, and that there's this ongoing rivalry between Taylor Swift and Katy Perry. Maybe there is. The story is that Katy Perry tried to steal some dancers from Taylor Swift's production, whatever. At the end of the day, I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I've got a great song that's catchy. I haven't heard a song from Taylor Swift off this 1989 album that's not catchy. So you've got a great artist that's very successful. You've got another great artist that's very successful. Let them be successful. Who cares?
I think it's more important that we have, because we were talking about this earlier, I think it's more important that there is actually a song or some conversation out there about the realistic attitude that women are professionally pitted against each other, and the competitive relationship that two women have professionally is very different from the competitive relationship that men have. And I think that's a conversation worth having. It's actually, we were joking around and I was like, oh, look, it's like Taylor Swift's version of Veruca Salt's Seether. Like, it's, you know, music about women being angry at other women and how we express that, because socially that's not something that's ever talked about, but it is rampant and it's
true.
awful.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a whole movement out there about women need to support other women in the media.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that's true. There's
Let's
that
all
kind
be
of thing.
nicer to each other.
Just in general, can we
Yes.
just all be nice to each other? Like, when you're leaving comments, think about it. If it's gonna hurt somebody's feelings, just don't say it.
And I just that is one thing about the chorus that that I love. You know, it used to be mad love. Like, it used to be we were all supporting each other, but now we're arguing and we've got bad blood. And it's really interesting. And I think there's a lot of room for conversation, especially with the number of women that she's got in this video who, I mean, all of which have experienced, you know, I'm sure professionally bad blood. So it's very cool. You've got a lot of models, which is one of the most cutthroat industry for women because it's, you know, comprised mostly of women. So it's really interesting to me. The whole science behind the way that women relate and the conversations that we have about it is fascinating. And I thank you, T Swift.
Long story short, Taylor Swift used her pop music cred, which is huge right now. She's like the biggest selling person in the world right now, to bring geekdom to life and make a lot of people really happy while also having a discussion about women in media. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah. So the video is great. I'm really glad that she did this, and I'm happy with it. And I'll be singing that song all day.
So happy with it.
I'll be singing that song all day now.
Yes.
Used to be bad blood.
So before this show becomes a musical segment, I feel like, well, okay. So, hey, news. What do you think? What do you think about Bad Blood? What do you think about the trailers that came out this week? Please tweet at us. We're not here to tweet. Tweet at us.
Yes, give us a thing.
Have us the conversation.
Before I forget about this, I wanted to bring this up too, because if you don't know, Danny and I, because we're streaming this on Twitch for DotGeek. If you guys don't know, Danny and I are part of a channel called Weird Girls, and we have a bunch of contributors that are all talking about geek content. And one of our contributors, Chandler Baker, has a book coming out in like 2 weeks. It's like 2 or 3 weeks. She has a pre-sale thing coming on. So you guys should look that up. If you go to our website at weird-girls.com, there'll be a link on the right side where you guys can go. She's doing a pre-order thing where if you send in your receipt, she'll send you book plates, she'll send you some other stuff with all that. But Chandler's book, Alive, is coming out soon, and I am super excited. I'm going to read the heck out of that book when it comes out because it's Chandler, and she's awesome. Yes. I actually was just shooting with her last night. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, and it's really fascinating to get to read a book that we have created, like that there's been so much content coming out about how she did it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really mind-blowing and fascinating. And then to, like, read the book and then go back and rewatch stuff and be like, oh, wow, so that really, okay, yeah, I see that. I get that.
I get that. I'm really excited.
I get that.
Chandler, congratulations on the book. You guys should check it out. Pre-order Alive and send her your receipt. I wish I don't have the email address. Send it to. If you go to our website, you'll find it on the website. But totally do that. I wanted to give a shout out to Chandler before we left out here.
Our website is
weird-girls.com.
Hey.
.com. Right.
Thank you so much for joining us on DotGeek this week. Remember to tune in next Wednesday. We do this every week. We talk about news. Tweet at us if you want a particular news topic covered. Tell us what you think.
Please, we need help.
Talk
to us about the things.
Help. If any of you are doctors or medical professionals.
I got an itchy throat right now. That's something I should worry about.
Right. So tune in with us next week for DotGeek. I'm Danny Danger.
I'm Mark Gardner. Later.
Geek out.
Geek out. I like that.